Hello, I'm Titus Morris. I'm a fake Amish cult leader. I love
Hello, folks. It's the big ugly outlaw, the Henson Creek King down here on Henson Creek. Now, I presented to you a Facebook post that Stephanie had put up back in March, and I wasn't able to respond to it directly, so I'm going to do that today. Now, first of all, can you imagine what it would take and how many lies and judge's orders has to be broke for a mother to lose their kids? Do you know how many lies Stephanie had to tell for a criminal, as she puts it, to go into court and testify against her to hold more weight than her word? They already tried to talk to Stephanie, honestly, and she got caught up in so many lies that she was untrustworthy. So there wasn't no sense in talking to her about anything because she constantly lies. She constantly lied in court. That's why she got found out. Now, you folks are saying, oh, well, she said you extorted her out of her mommy's house and her van. No, folks, that was a negotiation tactic to get her in a conversation, to get her to flat out say what she wanted done to her ex-husband, Jeffrey Kane. Now, folks, let me explain to you the steps and the things that went to the point to get Titus and Stephanie to hire me to kill Jeffrey Kane. First of all, Titus and Stephanie started having an affair. And then Titus moved Stephanie in with Titus's parents. Then Titus started going, he fell in love with this woman, this married woman. So he decided he was going to prophesize about Jeffrey Kane's death to free her so he can marry her without adultery and being part of it. And then Titus started having Randy Morris, his father, write Stephanie checks out of the GoFundMe church money for a widow's fund. So basically, Titus was paying his mistress out of the GoFundMe church money, making Stephanie a whore. Titus's whore. And Stephanie, I'm sorry, I'm not being mean. I'm not calling names. But when you accept money from a man you're sleeping with and having an affair with, when you accept money, that makes you a whore. And that's what you are. Now, Stephanie had plenty of chances to come clean. The judge gave her plenty of chances to come clean and tell the truth, but she refused to. But anyway, Titus had already started this affair. He had already started paying this, Stephanie this widow fund, and he planned on marrying her. And as long as he hadn't planned on marrying her, that widow fund, even though it looked very suspicious and was very suspiciously, given, because Stephanie was not a widow. Her husband was alive and well. But Titus started making prophecies on video. And Titus painted himself into a corner. And he had to hire somebody to get rid of Jeffrey Kane. And that, can you imagine if somebody would have killed Jeffrey Kane, the amount of likes and subscribers the Henson Creek House of Prayer and Titus Morris would have got, because his prophecy would have come true and he would have looked like a real prophet of God instead of the little maniacal devil that he is. Anyway, Stephanie made up so many unproven lies against Jeffrey Kane. She has made up so many lies about me. She has made up so many lies about Aaron with no proof at all. But yet, she demands proof when somebody speaks out against her. And folks, if a criminal can walk into a courtroom and take a child and give testimony that has the judge take away the children from a mother, a criminal, as she calls me, what does that make Stephanie? And how many lies does she get caught up in for a judge to believe a criminal over a Christian? That's a question you need to ask yourself, folks. These people have not worked for anything. Titus used insurance money to buy the trailer part of the land. He used GoFundMe Christians to pay for the other side of the land that isn't paid off, that they were supposed to pay it off in 2023 with a large, donation. But instead of using that donation to pay off that land, they used that money to buy other land and build a secret house. And that's facts. But anyway, Titus started having an affair. He started paying his mistress, and then he started prophesizing about the mistress's husband dying. And he was going to try to make that come true, because that would have made him look, oh, so good in the eyes of the public. But instead it backfired on him. And I walked in there and told the truth. And now they're paying. As you all can see, folks, they lie constantly. That is the Henson Creek House of False Witnessing. And I am Stephen Henson, the Outlaw King, down here on Henson Creek. Hit that like and subscribe.